Hey everybody, welcome to the workshop. And today's episode is going to be a quality of life upgrade for me. As you may know, when you're doing YouTube videos, you have to sit in front of a computer a fair amount to edit the videos. Or at least I do, because I don't hire it out to edit the videos and all. So sitting down in the office chair that I have right now is a little uncomfortable after about 15 minutes. So what I've done is I've bought a gaming chair. I'm not a gamer, but these chairs, at least my understanding, are supposed to be designed for people who are going to sit down for an extended period of time. So what I'm hoping is by buying this new chair, I'll be able to sit for long enough to at least edit some videos and get some actual work done, as opposed to having to keep getting up because body parts are hurting. So I'm going to assemble the chair and sit down in it and give you my first impressions. So stick with me today on Adam's Workshop. All right, we're in the office now. So I've got everything taken out of the box, everything laid out so I can see what I've got. I've got the tools, the tool that it comes with, the extra hardware, and everything here. Most everything already has the screws in it. Either items like this right here don't require bolts or screws, and as you can see on the back side of the cushion here, they've already put some of the screws in there instead of having to have an extra bag, which is kind of nice. And got the all-important instruction manual here. So we're going to just take it step by step and get this thing put together. Which the first step is going to be putting the base together. So we have the base and the different legs here. Instructions say just to flip these over, put them in, and push it down. Pretty simple start. Next, according to the instructions, is to put the casters on. And they're the same way. They just push into place. There's already a little ring on here. All right. Pretty nice. All right, next we're putting in the cylinder. And these are just the cover for it. Help protect it. Just slides on that way. And the small hole goes up. Push that down onto there. Okay. Next step is going to be to install this to the back of the cushion here, which is going to be using these hardware right here. And we'll be using the tool that's been provided. Now, before we tighten it all up, it's good to get it set into place. Then we can tighten it down. Okay, the next step is to install the footrest, which is what this pad right here is supposed to be for. It looks like it just slides up underneath the main cushion here. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work just yet, but I guess we'll find out. So this hardware actually gets screwed into this little bar right here, and it slides into these. Now, according to the instructions, you actually have to look at them really before you install them, because these right here get installed on the previous assembly instruction. The next step, it then actually shows that these are supposed to go in a certain way. So you have a slot here and then you have, say, a horizontal slot here and a vertical slot here on both of these. So at first glance, I didn't think anything about whether or not it would matter which way or not, but when you look at the instructions on the next step, it actually shows that the vertical slot here is supposed to, I'm sorry, the horizontal slot here is supposed to go towards the front, according to the instructions. So this is the front of the pad, so that means it has to be orientated in that direction. So it does pay to read the instructions and actually read ahead, because sometimes they're not always written the best. So that's going to be the next step here. Now it's good not to tighten these up all the way, because once we put the bar in there, if it's not adjusted properly, we could end up having some binding. So we just want to get it down most of the way. The instructions say about 80% of the way snug down. It's going to be enough to where we can get the shaft to go inside of here. And after that, once we find if that is sliding back and forth properly, then we will snug it down afterwards. All right, feels like it's running back and forth pretty smooth, so now we should be able to tighten the screws down. Test it again. Okay, now we'll tighten up the front. Now, it also has these little indents right here, and it comes with some of these washers to be able to put over the top of it into the groove on each side. Which gives it kind of a stopper right there, so that way you don't just accidentally pull the thing all the way out. Next step, to flip over the cushion and put it on top of our cylinder. Okay. Make sure it's all the way in there. All right. Okay, the next step is to install the bracket for the backrest. Now the bracket may be hard for you to see, but it does have a slight bend backwards, and that's the direction we want to go. So it needs to bend away from the front of it. Now there's 3 screws in the bottom, and it's 3 shorter bolts here. And then we've got 4 longer bolts, which are going to go into the top, which will bolt it onto here. Now the way this thing works is inside of here, you're actually going to take the bracket and slide it in between this pin and the back bracket. This part is threaded for the bottom 3 screws. It's going to fit in here, and then you've got this screw here and here. Okay. Now, next step is screwing this onto here. Pull this flat back, clean it off, and we have 4 inserts right here, which are going to go to here. This one's not wanting to cooperate. This is why it's good not to tighten everything down. You always want to leave everything loose so that way you have some wiggle room to get everything started if it wants to give you some trouble. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to get the lumbar support hooked up. So we're just going to take these, put them through the holes, and the other side will fit down in between the cushions and the seat back. And then we clip them in. So now there's our lumbar support. The lumbar support also has a little vibrator inside of there too, which you can plug in with the cord here, so that way it gives you a little bit of a massage function. Now, just like most things nowadays, it comes with the cord with USB, but you have to supply your own little transformer to plug into the wall here. Next thing is we have the pillow, and that is just going to do the same thing. It's just going to feed through here. Clip onto there. And lastly, we have the armrest. So the armrest, as far as it gets bolted on, is the inset portion. So our bolt's going to go in this direction. This fits into there and into here. All right, the chair is now fully assembled, and it does come with this gel pad. I don't know how much this gel pad is really going to make much difference on there, but I've got it on there at the moment just to show you. So, first impressions, the seat definitely has more support than my other seat. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I actually need seats, couches, even my bed, my mattress, needs to be firmer, to have more support. Because one thing that I have found is I had a couch, for example, that was extremely fluffy and it provided no support for me, and I would actually hurt sitting in it. So, see if you can get it in the shot here. This is the chair that I've been working with here, and it does have more cushion than the new one does. However, I find that I sink into it too much, and I can actually feel the wood base that's up underneath there, and eventually it starts to hurt sitting on it for too long. So now it's not good to sit anywhere for too long, because I've even heard stories of people sitting for so long that they end up with blood clots in their legs. As soon as they get up, it goes up to their heart and they have a heart attack. So sitting for too long is not a good thing. But at the same time, I don't want to be feeling like I'm just sitting on a piece of wood. So this chair being just too squishy just has not been good for me. So this one right here being firmer, I believe is going to help me out a whole lot more. It is nice to have the lumbar support. I'm somebody who enjoys some good lumbar support. The pillow, well, I feel like that remains to be seen whether or not it'll be good or not. So features about the chair, it does swivel quite nicely. The armrest I think will be just fine. They've got some padding to them. As I said before, this thing does have the plug for having some vibration on it, but it's nice. It does have kind of like a little pocket back here, so if you're not using it, you can take the cord and stuff it back inside of here, so that way it stays out of the way as you're turning around, you're moving the seat, and you don't have to worry about it getting messed up. It does have a little barrel plug here, so if you want to unplug it completely, you can do that. As far as it going up and down, there are, where is it? The two controls are on this side, so you can get it in frame here. Here and here. So the first one allows it to go up and down. This is up all the way. There's not a lot of travel in it, but I don't think you really need a whole lot. The second one here is pulls up, will unlock, push down to lock it. When it's locked, can't really push it back. When you unlock it, now it allows you to really go back. So I mean, if you need to take a moment to have a little siesta, you can actually do that in this chair, because it really goes back quite a ways. But you can also at any point lock it into place and it stays there. Feels quite solid, and I do like the rotation. It does feel nice and smooth. The cylinder going up and down is smooth. The locking mechanism, how it goes back and forward, all feels good. Everything seems like it's pretty good quality. It's rolling around pretty good, although I am on carpet, so I will need to get one of those large sheets of plastic that you put down to make it roll smoother. But all in all, it feels like it's got some good support, and I don't feel like I'm sitting on top of a piece of wood. So only time will tell if it really helps me out in the long run, but in the initial review here, everything feels pretty good. I did turn on or plug in the little massage function for the back of it. It does vibrate. Seems like it does okay. It's kind of hard to really show on camera that particular function, so just have to take my word for it. It does work. The little gel pad, I don't really notice it really matters one way or not. I've got it on there. It came with it. It does have Velcro on it, and there's Velcro on the back of here, so that way when you put it on and you pull it tight around it, you Velcro it, and so it will stay on. And for some reason, if you need to, because of the style of it here, you can raise this up and back down as you can fit it to yourself. And this can always just come off if you just don't like this too. Same thing. So all in all, it feels pretty good. It is a pretty heavy chair too, so that's why I built it here in the office instead of doing it in the shop and then bringing it in here. It's already pretty heavy. It was easier just to bring it in the box. So far, I guess if I had to say one thing, maybe is the armrest or feel like they're back a little bit. My arms are kind of sitting in the normal position. With it being at an angle here, it does make it feel like my arms are going forward, but time will tell once I actually start editing if that's good, bad, or indifferent. So all in all, feels pretty good. Everything feels pretty solid. Pretty happy with it. I don't think I mentioned it. It's a Dowinx, Dowingx. I did get this on Amazon. It cost me about $170 at the time when I purchased it. So not a cheap chair, but I think it'll be worth it in the end to give me better support on my bottom side and my lower back especially, for the support of it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all again next time in the workshop.